Alright guys, welcome to day 4 of week 4 of biology. So we are going, I think it's day 4. This is your test review. Let me make sure. All my classes are a little bit different, so I don't want to tell you wrong. That's Mommy's lesson plan. Okay, this is day 3, week 4. Okay, so this is your test review. So I'm going to just go through what you're going to need to know for the test. Please do not mind my sweet little girl. She does not want to be by herself right now, so she's going to hang with us. So hopefully she is not too distracting. I cannot put the PowerPoints on at this time because I'm having some technical difficulties, but you should have all of this written down anyways. So if I say it during the test review, during this video, you know that that is for sure information you need to know. Doesn't mean the other notes you don't have to study, but it just means that the main part of the test is going to be focusing on, wow, this is going great. It's going to be focused on what I discuss here. So let me, here, you want to chew on something? Chew on that. Okay, so let's go ahead and talk about invertebrates. So I'm going to move kind of quickly. Don't forget, your test is on Monday, April 20th at 9:30 a.m. You have to take it on RunWeb and via Zoom, okay, in order to get graded at all from me. That's to ensure integrity and accountability and all that good stuff. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, so you need to know about kingdom Animalia. Some things that set them apart, like all animals are eukaryotic and heterotrophic. Okay, so you need to know what those two things mean. You should already know what those two terms mean. Means of support, you need to know what an endoskeleton is, an exoskeleton, and a hydroskeleton is. Okay, you need to know the difference between bilateral symmetry and radial symmetry and be able to give me an example of both. So I gave you an example in the notes, but an example of bilateral symmetry would be humans. Radial symmetry would be starfish. And then no symmetry, you need to know that as well. An example of that would be like coral. You need to know that the nutrition of animals has 3 components. So ingestion, digestion, and egestion. You need to know the difference between vertebrates and invertebrates. The formatting of the test is going to be the same as always, so there's going to be some multiple choice mostly, but there will be some short answer, but I promise it will be clear and concise questions. And the great thing is the Zoom call, you can ask me a question if you need to. So, all right, phylum Chordata, you don't need to know about phylum Chordata just yet because we're going to get into that after this chapter. So, but you do need to know that 97% of all animals are invertebrates. You need to know the difference between oviparous, ovoviparous, and viviparous, and you need to know examples for all 3 of those. So ovoviparous, I'll give you the examples, are chickens. Oh, I'm sorry, oviparous chickens. Ovoviparous, some snakes are ovoviparous, and then viparous would be dogs or humans. Okay. You need to know about sponges. They are animals that grow in one spot. I'm sorry. I hope that this isn't distracting, but she's enjoying herself. Do you at least want to see her cute face while I talk? Okay, so you need to know about spicules, what they do for sponges. They provide support and protection. Okay, you need to know how sponges feed. So they are filter feeders. You need to know what that means. And they have collar cells. Okay, you need to know that they are able to do asexual and sexual reproduction. Some of them are hermaphroditic. Okay. If I were to ask for an example of a yellow tube sponge, you would need to be able to list that for me. You need to know the predator of the yellow tube sponge, which is a hawksbill sea turtle. And you also need to know, if you were in South Carolina, what kind of sponge would you most likely find on Isle of Palms or Folly Beach, and that would be the redbeard sponge. All right, cnidarians. You need to be able to list some examples. Be familiar with the definition of nerve nets. Remember that with nerve nets, echinoderms also have those. You need to know the difference between polyp versus medusa form of cnidarians. All right. And if you were on the beach, in South Carolina, what kind of jellyfish would you most likely see? The answer is a cannonball jellyfish. And they are eaten by leatherback sea turtles. You also need to know about the very dangerous Portuguese man o' war that we talked about. And it can get up to about 100 feet long. Technically 98 feet, but we can round it to 100. And that can be fatal to humans. All right, worms. Blech. Worms have 66,000 species that we know of. You need to know the 3 types of worms: roundworm, flatworm, segmented worm. What kind of symmetry they have. You need to know the exception worm that does not have a digestive system. That's a tapeworm. They do not, because they already eat digested food from their host. I'm currently showing her a book of pictures of us. So, she's very excited about it. Okay. Okay. You need to know that self-fertilization in worms, so they can produce sexually and asexually, but if they do have to self-fertilize, it can actually be detrimental and kill the worm. You need to know how worms, you need to know what they do to an environment. So some are parasites, some can cause disease, but some actually can be used to treat disease, and they also do things like enrich the soil. Be familiar with heartworms. That's the worms found in your doggies. Okay, for mollusks, you need to know that it's the second largest phylum within Animalia, Kingdom Animalia. You need to know the 3 categories of mollusks, which is bivalves, gastropods. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, she's fine. Okay. Bivalves, gastropods, and cephalopods. You need to be able to give me examples of each ones. Okay. Structure and reproduction. So be sure that you know the shape, or the symmetry, excuse me, for mollusks. So they have bilateral symmetry. All right. We talked about octopuses, and you need to know that they have 3 hearts, and you need to know what color blood they have and why they have that color blood. the example that we gave was a giant Pacific octopus. And then last but certainly not least, we talked about echinoderms. So everything that we discussed with the starfish, we didn't have a whole lot about echinoderms, but make sure that you are familiar with their tube feet, what they use their tube feet for. Make sure you know that they have radial symmetry, and they also have nerve nets, same as cnidarians, okay? So if you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah. And I love you guys. I'm going to go feed this little gremlin. And, yeah, just let me know if you need anything. All right. And don't forget, your day 4 video will appear on Friday. And it will have your lab information. So make sure you turn in your lab before then for a quiz grade. And, yeah, it'll be great stuff. All right, love you guys a whole lot. See you soon.